Hello everybody, welcome to the TraderMerlin Show for your Tuesday afternoon edition. Taco Tuesday, getting into the tail end of our week, and as you guys may have seen from the description, 3 shows left for me this year. I will be doing today, obviously. 2 will be doing tomorrow, and that'll be the last one for this week. And then next week will be Wednesday only with none other than Larry Jacobson. So I'm pretty excited to have Larry on the program. As of yet, no guests for tomorrow, but you never know, that may change. Anyway, shout out to everybody who's joining us today. Good to see you all. Hope you all had an eventful trading day. I think maybe I just jinxed the market by saying, you know what? If I say the Santa Claus rally is not going to be there, then the next day it's a big rally. So let's keep that in mind. As you guys might remember, yesterday's show was talking about how, Santa's no match for Omicron, and then today we had huge market moves. Love it, and I'm sure some of you guys were long in that market, and it was great for me because obviously I was selling some puts that are expiring in January. So great, market moves up, I don't care. I'll expire worthless and get my 1+%. All right, so here is our little, cue card for today. Just an open Q&A. I've got a whole bunch of listener questions, and of course, I'd much rather get yours in. NJ, thank you so much, man. Appreciate your content. You've contributed a lot this year, so I do appreciate that. And of course, NJ, if you got questions, send them on in. It's a Q&A kind of day. All right, so with regards to the first ones, now I have a bunch of different stuff. There's no real theme or rhyme or reason to the questions for today. I just kind of went through what was sent in at TraderMerlin@gmail.com. So for those of you who would like to participate, send in questions and be interactive, send them on in. As you know, most of the show topics are derived from you, the viewers. So if you say, hey, I'd like to learn more about this, normally I will incorporate those in. Unless they're really deep dives into crypto, I keep that for my community in the Crypto Investor Live. And for those who want a free crypto class, it's down in the comments down below. There's 6 free videos there for you. Just click that link and you get more info. So I'm going to start one off with, let's see, who do we got first? I think I started with a macro piece. Yeah, for Mike, who I think is here today. Do I see Mike? No Mike today. Not yet. He's probably hiding in the shadows. He says, Monday in pre-market trading, I saw this stock, SOPA, was being added to the Russell 2000. It was in the $5 range at the time. When trading started, it moved to $11 to $13 during the day. Is this a pattern that repeats when stocks are added to indexes? I didn't buy, but wanted to. Thinking it would move up. I bought options on CRM when it was added to the Dow, and it worked out well. So, yeah, it is actually a pattern. It's something that's fairly predictable once it happens. So, obviously, the mechanics behind an index rebalancing, and that's what the Russell 2000 just did. So, you have the Dow, the S&P, NASDAQ, and the Russell all rebalance their portfolio at different points in time, and they're all different, but you can actually go to the index sites and click, and it'll tell you exactly when those changes happen. Some are once a year, some are multiple times per year. So the Russell just dropped. I don't even know who they dropped, but they dumped some company and put in SOPA, S-O-P-A. So I'll show you the chart of what happened with SOPA. Here is S-O-P-A. And, it's one of those things. First thing I like to do, it's just the way that my brain thinks. I think everyone's lying, cheating, and stealing. So I will go here, and we've got volume on the bottom of the chart. I'm going to put this on a 15-minute chart. And the question I have is, did anybody know about this announcement before it came out, right? So I'm going to scroll over here. And here you can see the big pop, and this is the Friday session. And I'm going to go right up here to the close, and you can see, notice the volume on the close. There was almost no volume. So this was actually a pretty well-kept secret that nobody really knew that this was going to be added to the Russell 2000. Now, let's be honest. If you work for the S&P, or not S&P 500, the Russell 2000, if you work for the Russell 2000, isn't this amazing information? Like if you knew that SOPA was going to get added to the Russell 2000 on Friday, and you knew that like a week ahead of time, because it's not like they wake up Monday and say, we're making that change today, right? There's planning and design and making sure that SOPA's the one to add, and who do we dump? Obviously, it's the most ripe form for insider trading if you can find a way to get information out. Anyway, conspiracy theories all aside, it looks like this is a pretty well-kept secret as volume did not spike at all. Even though you look at the previous few days, volume down here at the bottom looked relatively the same. It's a very illiquid stock. Kind of surprised they added this one, but hey, they decided to add it. So the predictableness is that when it gets added, the shares of this spike. The question is, how much does it go up, right? Is this a case of buy the rumor, sell the news? Like this is the news announcement. So if we look at what was happening with SOPA before, here's a daily of SOPA. This thing looks like junk, right? And you take out the Monday and Tuesday trading. So this would be the chart right here. It looks awful. I would tell you stay away from this thing. Don't touch it. So, this would be a gamble one if you bought it and actually made money in that small little pop. But unfortunately, I would never have because, Lori, thank you. Sorry, I didn't give a shout out to you. Lori sent me a wonderful present. So thank you so much, Lori. I did get that one the other day. Very happy. I'll be having some tomorrow on the show. And actually, I won't be making it to the center this week or next week. I think there's an event in Irvine next week, right? 27th and 28th. I'm going to be in Northern California, so I won't be able to make that, but I am going to pipe in and do a session for everybody on crypto and things like that. So there we go. Unfortunately, I won't be in there this week. I may be able to squeeze in there tomorrow, but probably not because I have my Crypto Investor Live program at 10 from 10 to noon tomorrow. So I'll be pretty darn busy. But anyway, thank you so much for the gift. I do appreciate that. Again, going back to this chart, yeah, I got added, and I guess, Mike, your question is, how do you trade it, right? Is there a way to capitalize on this? No. In my opinion, no. The boat has already left the port. I mean, it's already moved. Now, does that mean that this thing's going to come crashing back down to the level that was at just on Friday, which is $3? Probably not all the way down there. Remember, any index that's tracking or mutual fund that's tracking the Russell 2000 now is forced to put this company in that portfolio. Even though, to me, it looks like junk, at least from a technical perspective, they have to add it. Once they add it, there's no need for them to change their portfolio allocations, right? It's fixed. So to me, this pop here reflects that adjustment, and it's already been priced in. You notice that the volume on yesterday's trading, let me give you the volume numbers here, 168 million was traded on Monday, and you can see the days before, it's like less than a million. So these portfolios have already allocated that in. So unless this thing turns around, I don't really see it needing to go up. If anything, I see it continuing and drifting back down, at least for now, right? Obviously, there was some logic to why they decided to put that in the portfolio. It has to be some fundamentals, or maybe they know somebody. But remember, the Russell 2000 is small cap companies. So there's a lot of volatility and risk in those specific ones, which is why the portfolio is so diversified to out to 2,000 positions. There's also a Russell 3000 as well, and a 1,000. So no way to really trade those. What I have noticed, though, is when you have an addition, usually that one will perform well for, and again, I don't really look at Russell 2000 additions. I'm normally going to be looking at S&P, Dow, and NASDAQ as far as those additions, because those are big, solid, developed companies, generally bigger trends or more established trends. Normally what you have is, the one that is being removed is going to start to decline after it gets removed from the portfolio. It'll drop, right? Because all the funds that were supposed to carry that position in that index now dump it, and then you see that thing drift down, and the one that's added rises for a little bit. But I feel like the impact is going to be much more significant on an index that has fewer components, like the Dow, the NASDAQ, and the S&P. The Russell 2000, that's quite a bit. So that's it. That's all I got for that one, Mike. And hopefully that helped out. No flannel shirts. I went with a comfortable... It was one of those ones I was going to go to the office today, and I had an XLT general session this morning talking about cryptocurrencies, and I was just about to go in the office, and I said, you know what? I'm wearing pajamas and staying home. So here we are in comfort clothes today. Yes, I got it. Now I'll be drinking it over the weekend for sure. Yeah, NJ, I do miss the Christmas parties as well. It's kind of fun. They're doing like a holiday thing, which will have centers patched in, I believe. But yeah, I miss the big events as well. But it is what it is. That's right, Katwin. And I still have one shirt I gotta wear. I gotta make a note. All right, I'll wear that shirt tomorrow. All right, so let me go to this next question here. And again, I told you I wasn't going to make any trades the last 2 weeks. Yesterday I did. I sold quite a few puts on XLE and IWM. Those both had nice bounces today. Russell 2000 was up 3%, so good news on that one. Other than that, I don't plan on making any more trades. I have one order, actually, it's in the system right now for a cryptocurrency called Sand, or the Sandbox, but that just been teasing me for a better part of a week and a half now, but probably no more trades for the rest of the week for me. All right, let's go to our questions so I can get through those, and you guys can get some in there. All right. Jeff, this was interesting. So Jeff says, since Bitcoin is supposed to be the new gold, remember, it's not supposed to be the new gold. It's just kind of something it's a developing role, right? This just in, it seems like that is the kind of the role that's being established for it. Not that it's supposed to be anything, right? I think it's still finding what it is supposed to be. Is it a store of value? Is it a currency? Is it a security? I mean, we're still trying to figure all that out. But yes, I would say some are making the argument that it's a proxy for gold. The big difference here is if SHA-256 gets cracked, then Bitcoin goes to zero and it's no longer a store of value. The only thing that would change that about gold is if somebody, I guess Merlin being an alchemist, right? I think he was kind of an alchemist wizard. Unless he can create gold from something like water or Rapunzel or Rumpelstiltskin type stuff, then gold will always have that tangible value. Bitcoin could be replaced. Bitcoin could be cracked and all of a sudden it goes to zero. So there is obviously that risk factor to it, but there's the belief that because of SHA-256 and the security behind Bitcoin, that it's not going to get cracked, and therefore that's what's giving it that perception of gold. So it says as an inverse relation, shouldn't have an inverse relationship to the market. It seems like it's been moving with the market since October dip. If I was going to buy one Bitcoin, how would I do it? So a couple things. Personally, I just think that everything's out of sync right now. You know, you look at the bonds, you look at real estate, you look at equity markets. It all seems like there's no real tight correlations like there historically has been. What's going to happen is that we'll go back to an equilibrium point. So we get these big disconnects from time to time, and all of a sudden things go right back to where they normally are, where, as you're right, gold has somewhat of an inverse relationship with the markets, but not always. I think I have to pull this site up for you. Maybe I can get that one. I think it's mcri.com. Nope, it's MRCI. Dyslexia on a Tuesday afternoon. So here's more research. This is a great resource for you guys, or anybody's looking for comparisons. More research. If you go down here to free information, I believe, I think it's free futures research. And there's another, oh boy, where did it go? Intermarket Correlations, right? So it's on the left-hand side of your screen, Intermarket Correlations, and it brings up this page. So you can look at GC. So here's the gold column, and if you're looking at indexes, it's inverse, but it's only about 15% inverted to the S&P. You can see the NASDAQ and the Dow. It's actually correlated with to the tune of about 4%. So usually these numbers are bigger, so it'd be more than negative 15%, meaning that inverse relationship. But we can go back through here and change these. So there's since the last 180 days. That's the long term. If I go here and go into last 30 days, you can see all of a sudden they're totally wonky, right? You've got 52% correlated with the Dow. That's crazy. That's pretty much lockstep. You've got S&P is 38% correlated with gold, and then NASDAQ is 12% inverse. Now, unfortunately, this list, at this point, they haven't included Bitcoin in here. Now, hopefully, I sent them an email about a week or two ago asking them to add in Bitcoin into this because I think it would be interesting to see how Bitcoin stacks up against a lot of these, but right now it's not there. But a nice resource for you to see what the correlations are between different indexes and currencies and commodities as well, and that's at More Research. So, a nice little resource for you there. And let me get rid of that one. So that's with regards to the correlations. Yeah, I think right now they are a little bit out of sync. At some point they will jump back in line and be normal and see. And that's why I'm thinking that gold. That's why I'm long silver, and of course I hold a bunch of Bitcoin because I'm expecting that to continue to move up. And how would you go about buying one Bitcoin? Great question. I wouldn't buy it on Coinbase because the cost is just too high. Now, the real tough part is how do you get it as cheap as possible? And Jeff, I think it really comes down to where are you at? I mean, that's a big factor. If you use a Bitcoin ATM, generally you have like a 5% spread plus an 8% commission. So Bitcoin ATM, too expensive. If you use wallets, like you can buy it through PayPal, you can buy it through Venmo. Let me see if I can do this for you real quick. I wanted to kind of show you guys, can I go and buy it through things like PayPal? Well, you can, but they'll charge you a bunch of fees, and because I now have the potential to show you this, bear with me as I'm trying to bring up an app that will let me show you my screen. And where is it? We'll be there in just a sec. And the beauty of technology. And again, thank you, David, for getting me this. David got me a Christmas present, which is a software program that allows me to stream my phone so you guys can see what's on it. which is creepy at the same time. Let's see, code is 3577. Come on, 3577. All right, so you should be able to see my phone right now, and I'll make it a point as to why this is kind of such a bad idea. Where's my phone? There you go. Put that over there, and I'll keep it off the side so I can do a gratuitous plug of my logo. So you guys can see the phone off to the side. Okay, and then I'm in my crypto apps right here, so you guys can see all the, or this is money. So I've got my money apps, and you can see I got PayPal. So you go to PayPal, and it's like, okay, let me go to PayPal, and I think you can go into, I forgot where it was, crypto. All right, so okay, Bitcoin. So you can see Bitcoin's trading. It says that it's trading right now at $49,035. Okay, so I can go in there, and let me see. Oh, great, it won't let me buy it from here. I thought it could. Explore crypto. All right, we clicked on Bitcoin. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm using my mouse. I'm clicking on the screen. So let's say I want to go $1,000. Okay, I'll connect it to my bank account. Notice the transaction fee. So it's a 1.8% transaction fee, but what I want you to pay attention to is what price is it? It says $49,308. Well, wait a minute. $49,308. Didn't you just show me $49,043? So not only are they charging you 1.8%, but they're also adding on $300 into the Bitcoin. So that to me is not a good thing, right? Too expensive. And I guess if you look at different apps as well, you can go into things like, let me go to Venmo here. You can go to Venmo, and that's the same thing. I actually have bought crypto here just because I get paid certain things through this account. It's looking even better. So you go to here, Bitcoin. Let's say I wanted to buy some more Bitcoin. You notice the same feature. I click on buy, put $1,000 in there, review it, and you can see that it's adding an $18 fee. So again, 1.8%, but the spread just got wider. It says 49,290 there, but when they quote me the price, it's 49,043. So they added $250 on. So again, I wouldn't recommend using those types of wallets or that functionality, at least to make those types of purchases. So far, probably the cheapest that I've been able to see it would be something like going to Binance, but you have to get your cash into Binance. So you have to have some place that sets up an ACH, which is a cash connection to your bank account. That's probably the best way. Yeah, but it's all cool when I can display the phone until all of a sudden I give away some private information. I was on the show the other day, or teaching the class the other day, and that happened. So I got to be careful there. But anyway, where's the best place to buy one? Kraken's going to charge you a 0.1% fee, or 0.16%. So that adds up quite a bit as well, but nowhere near the $18. So let's say I bought $1,000 of Bitcoin. I'll bring it over here so you guys can see the calculator. So there's my calculator. I'll put it in the center, and I'll times that by 0.0016%. And to buy $1,000 worth of Bitcoin, they're going to charge me $1.60. That's way better. I'm okay with that, right? But if you're buying $50,000, you can see how quickly that would add up. $50,000 Bitcoin, and you're paying let's say 1.8% is what you saw on those other screens. I'm sorry, that's not what it'd be. It would be I'm totally messing myself up. It'd be 0.018. Sorry, I'm tired. 50,000 times 0.018. That would be 1.8%. So it would be a $90 commission. $90 fee just to buy $5,000 of the Bitcoin. If you're buying a $50,000 Bitcoin, that's going to be $900, right? Merlin, does Coinbase Pro do that too with the spreads? No, they don't. Coinbase Pro does not. Okay, so Coinbase Pro, you actually can see the level too. You see the order book. So one nice thing is they don't add to the spread, but they're still charging you 0.5% commission, unfortunately. How about Coinbase Pro? The fee is low. It's not, it's not that low. And this is a misconception a lot of people have. They don't charge the spread. I have 38 browsers open. I'm getting ready for my crypto class tonight, so I apologize. I'm going to try to find. Here is Coinbase Pro. Okay, so Coinbase Pro is over here. And if you go to, I think it's under orders, and you click fees, notice right at the top, right here, 0.5%. So it's definitely better, but 0.5% is expensive. If you look at, yeah, Big Eb's right. It's so Coinbase is charging, the regular Coinbase is charging 0.018% fee, whereas Kraken's charging 0.0016% fee. I bought $10,000 worth on Kraken and paid $60 in fees. I think your math was wrong. No, it's not. My math's not wrong, Walter. What I'm trying to point out is Coinbase's fees are ridiculously high. Kraken is much better. So going back to that point, I would actually encourage people to, if you are going to buy, Kraken's probably a better exchange to buy from. Now, the problem is Kraken doesn't have ACH, so you have to get your cash in somehow. And right now, Coinbase, for the US brokers, because I'm not using Gemini, is the only one that will allow me to do that. So I would say, if you want to buy a Bitcoin, I would do it at Kraken because it's US based. You can get cheaper fees. I think you can get 0.01%. A tenth of a percent by going to Binance or other international firms, but now you run the risk of being international and having a challenge, getting your money out if something were to happen. So there you go. That's it. That's what I would do to buy one Bitcoin. I was going to say it's exact opposite. I have people who are trying to buy Bitcoins with cash as opposed to sell Bitcoin. Otherwise, if I knew someone who's trying to sell their Bitcoin, I would just tell you to buy directly from them and you cut out all the intermediaries and middlemen. Society expects us to tip over 20% for transactions on our food from the kitchen and table. How can you complain about these tiny crypto fees? Because my dinner's not costing me $200,000. For those of you who were in the CIL, I transferred $250,000 the other day from one account to the other, and those fees weren't that high because I wasn't buying from Coinbase or Kraken. But you make a $250,000 transaction paying a 0.5% fee, I think you'll start complaining, Tom. I'm okay when it's like a $20 meal. Fine, you don't notice it that much, right? It's only a few bucks. You're 20% on a $20 meal, okay, $4, fine. But if all of a sudden you've got $200,000, you're like, I'm paying $40,000? Hold up a sec. No, not gonna happen. Oh, NJ, I don't talk about vaccine mandates. I'm staying away from that one because it creates enemies right away. If you're pro-vaccine, someone hates you. If you're anti-vaccine, somebody hates you. We're all entitled to do our own research and have our opinions on it, but I'll leave that one out. I do pay my fair share, but not when it comes to crypto, buddy. I'm trying to save penny pincher there. All right, Lisa sent another one since we're on the crypto vein. Lisa says, can this be true? And it's an article from CNBC which says the U.S. government has a massive secret stockpile of Bitcoin. And she says, if this is true, is the government competent when it comes to crypto sales? Is the government competent when it comes to pretty much any business function? If we were competent, we would not have the deficit that we have. We would not be running into constant raise the debt ceiling problems. So I don't think the government's competent, period. And again, I'm not being anti-patriotic. I just look at what's going on in our government offices. And you look at what's happening with the Senate subcommittee on cryptocurrencies. They can't figure out what the definition of a broker is. I took finance. I can tell you what a broker is. It's in textbooks, you morons. Open up a book and read it. Here's the definition. But they can't figure it out. It's been months and months and months. They can't figure out the definition. So I have no faith in the competence of my government. That said, does the government have a huge stockpile of crypto? Yeah, they do. So in certain situations, like with Silk Road, when they busted him, we would not hate each other. Some people do, man. Some people do. I'll give you a really weird story, Margaret. This is a weird one. So when I went to live in Italy, right? I worked in Italy for a brokerage firm over there, and I was the education arm. And this was back in 2001. In March, I went over there and I was, got my desk and working, and I'm on Skype and I'm talking to all kinds of people. Well, on Skype, there were people offering me friend requests. So this individual asked me to be a friend request. Of course, I'm a single guy at that point. So she had a really cute profile picture, and you could tell from the name it was a Middle Eastern name, but I don't care. Fine, wherever you're from, awesome. I'm happy to talk to anybody. My parents taught me to treat everybody right and until they do you wrong. And so we were conversing for like weeks, and it wasn't like sexting or anything like that. We were just friends and talking about what's going on. And I think she was in Libya. If I remember, she was in Libya. No tension, no issue, no nothing. And all of a sudden 9/11 happened. And I remember the day that 9/11 happened, I was sitting on the computer chatting with her, and one of my coworkers came running by and was like, "Hey, are you watching this?" I'm like, "Watching what?" So a plane hit the World Trade Center. I was like, "Wow!" And of course, when you hear that, you think it was an accident, right? A plane hit the World Trade Center, and then all of a sudden they came running back. Oh my God! A second one hit, and one of the towers just fell. And I'm like, I run up, I go look at the TV, and I come back, and I'm chatting with her. I'm like, "This is absolutely horrible. I'm in shock." And she goes, "Why?" I said, "Because tens of thousands of innocent people are going to die. This is awful." She says, "Those people deserve to die." And then she immediately starts blocking me and then hating me. And I got my Yahoo account got shut down because she said that I was racially slandering her. And I was like, it was just so weird to have that type of thing happen. But you mentioned your religion, your politics. I'm sure some of you may feel this way too. If you say, "Oh, well, I'm a Trump supporter," you're going to get hated by some people and absolutely applauded by others. Or I'm a Biden supporter. Oh, you're going to get hated by one. Don't even mention it. Just I try to stay away from it all just because of that reason right there. The only thing I can do is be the best that I can be, and hopefully others will do that as well. So let's not talk about vaccine mandates. I know we're going to be in lockdown here again in California. Great. Yay! Anyway, let's go back and get off the topic. We're going to go to this one again, which was, do they have big stockpiles? Yes. Every time that they bust somebody, if they can, they're trying to get that cryptocurrency. So for example, Silk Road. Silk Road, as you guys know, initially was the first use case for dark web and cryptocurrency. It was like, we have this black market where you could literally log in and you want to buy 65 ounces of black tar heroin delivered to your home? Sure. Pay in cryptocurrency. Because it was so new, it was crazy. Absolutely crazy. I actually logged into Silk Road a couple of times and just was blown away by what you could buy. You want to buy a Hitman? Done. It's there. You want to buy any drug, any narcotic, any weapon, firearm, it was nuts. So when they finally busted Ross Ulbricht, I think was his name, which was crazy how they got him. They actually got him with his laptop open. All he had to do was close that laptop and he would not be in prison right now. But he left his laptop open as the feds raided him in a coffee shop down the street in San Francisco from his house. Because of that, they had access to his private keys. So once they have the private keys, they take all the cryptocurrency, but others may not give up their private keys. In the case of BitConnect, where they were a Ponzi scheme for Bitcoin, I think part of the plea deal was, okay, I'll give you the private keys for a lesser sentence. And what the government now has is this huge stockpile of assets. So they got this pile of Bitcoin. What do? They don't care. They just want to sell it and, in theory, give restitution back to the people who were harmed or wronged with those companies. So that's really what the government's been doing. Do you trust the government to get the best deal? No. I don't think the government's going to be the one, getting good deals at all. I don't think that they're good at all with regards to making the best deals or transactions. So how are they going to do it? Well, let me see. I actually think I just ruined my screen over here by doing this one. That is so weird. Something happened on my... oh, that's weird. So let's just go Skype guest left. Something happened on my screen here which completely took away. All right, this will have to do. So where can you find these things? I think that's another one, is like, where do you find them? I have bought real estate through auction sites. Here's one that I like to use. Of course, I'm giving away like a little bit of a secret. There's county tax lien sales, there's sheriff sales, but this is generally where the government is going to be selling cryptocurrencies, like things through the Marshal Service, etc. So, for example, I can click on the U.S. Marshal Service auctions right now, and you can see they've got houses, jewelry and property, boats, cars. Right now, there's only one item. So if anybody wants a 1998 Cobalt 293T fiberglass stern drive power boat, $12,750. It could be your... Oh, its status is closed. So that one ended in January. Apparently they're doing nothing, but there's all kinds of auctions on here. And again, when they sell some of their assets, that's all they're doing. They're just putting it out there and going it up to highest bid. Now, Tim Draper, who runs a major fund, he spent $18 million on, I think it was like $9,000 or $12,000 worth of Bitcoin. Restitution might be the wrong word. My vocabulary is not right. But let's see. Government just paying back those who were wronged. I think it's the right use of restitution, isn't it? Oh boy. Now my English lessons are coming out. Remember, I'm not a native born. English is not my first language. So they will sell those cryptocurrencies at whatever the market will bear. Now, it's kind of silly. Like if Bitcoin, or if the government had just kept the the crypto that they sold to Tim Draper, which I think he bought for $18 million, it ended up spiking up to a value of like $1.2 billion, right? Great. But the government didn't care. Government just wanted to sell and make some money on it. All right. Mike says, I was just looking at SAND USD on Kraken, and it says that the pair is not available in the U.S. What does that mean? And what country would they expect you to trade in? So our government is a mess. Our regulations are a mess with regards to crypto. So right now, there are so many things that you can't buy or sell through a centralized exchange. Remember, Kraken and Binance are what are called custodial. Custodial means they have your private keys. They know all the info about you. In a perfect world, we'd be using something called non-custodial, which means that you actually get to keep all your private keys. You own the cryptocurrency, and you're doing it through a DEX, a decentralized exchange, which means I'm no longer connected specifically through the United States. All right, so one of the things we're going to talk about tonight in the Crypto Investor Live is this kind of new DEX coming online, which is going to create all sorts of synthetic assets. So if I want to trade Apple right now, I have to have a brokerage account somewhere, right? E-Trade, Ameritrade, Schwab, whatever. I have to have one. And they all have KYC, know your customer, and social security numbers, all that stuff. One of these DEXs in particular, I can go out and I can not only trade any asset that I want, but if it's not there, I can create that asset through tracking, meaning I can create synthetic Apple shares right now. They call them synthetic Apple tokens, and it's pegged 1-to-1 to the price of Apple. So, great. Now I don't have to go through all that. If I want to operate off the price appreciation of Apple, I can do so without having the watchful eyes of government or banks or centralized entities watching me. This is kind of the revolution that decentralized markets and digital assets is presenting. So as Big Eb says, you could also use a VPN, but that may create some issues on your account depending how well they track you. So if you go to like Binance, for example, you can trade SAND on Binance. And let's say you use your VPN to connect. Okay, great. You can now hold SAND in your account. But what happens if you try to pull it out and they see that you've been using a VPN? They may flag you. They may create problems for you. All right, so yes, Lisa, it is true. They do have big stockpiles, although I believe that they are not looking to hold. They're just waiting for those funds to clear the court case. So, for example, I believe the BitConnect scam, I believe that they're doing sentencing starting in January. So when that sentencing is done and that trial is fully over, they will auction off I don't know how many, there's probably a few thousand Bitcoin, I don't know, 5,000, 10,000 Bitcoin that are sitting in a vault, waiting for this trial to be over. And it's great because that happened in 2017 or 18. Well, if you look at 18, Bitcoin crashed. So now they're going to make a hefty profit on it from just holding those Bitcoin in that account. They'll sell it to somebody out there. All right, what else do I got? There was one question that I couldn't quite see. And Jeff, if you're here, let me see if you actually sent me a response because I didn't get a chart. He asked about a chart of Qualcomm and talking about small range candles, but I didn't get a chart with it. So what other questions do you guys have? I didn't have a lot of questions today. Let's see. What app is giving you was the app giving you a final price or an estimated price? Estimated. And you're right. That's a good point that Tom posts there, is that gives you an idea of what you're going to get, but you might suffer some slippage also. Meaning when you send that order, it's like, wait a minute, it came back $100 higher. Well, sorry, slippage, market demands, timing, that type of thing. Unfortunately, that's just a peril of getting involved with those types of wallets. So let's see. I had something else planned to talk about, but I just cannot remember. I've been working on content all day, so let me know what else you guys want to go into. I'm happy to go in any direction because I can't answer this question right here. Oh, there. So we'll go full 3 is the new one. It says, check out this chart of Qualcomm, the arrow I drew. What does that tell you about the stock that is trending down with all green candles? Do small bodies equal indecision? The answer is yes. Let me get off that screen. I meant to go to a totally different screen. And here is Qualcomm. So I don't know what you're talking about with all going down with all green candles, right? Qualcomm looking rather bullish, and maybe it was an intraday chart that you had sent me, but generally what reflects indecision, in my opinion, and kind of this is the candlestick version as well, when you have like these two here, not today's candle, but the two, let's call it Monday or Friday and Monday, they're really small green bodies, right? So they call that as a real body. So whenever you have a small real body, that generally is reflective of indecision. And you see a lot of this, especially back here on the 26th of November. I'll zoom in much deeper so you guys can see it much clearly. So right there where I've got my cursor, that represents indecision because it opened and closed at the same price. And what makes this a little less indecisive is that it has this really long topping tail, right? This is one that looks like it's going to see downward pressure the next day. Unfortunately, this one, it moved up, but that's a pretty bearish-looking candlestick formation. Now, ones that I like to look for are like this one on November 12th. I'll get it away from the text. You guys see this? I mean, it's barely anything. So November 12th, you had this open and close almost the exact same price. Small, tiny, tiny little topping tail, small, tiny bottoming tail. This is the ultimate indecision candle, would be Qualcomm on November 12th of this year. Now, just because something has indecision doesn't mean it's going to go a specific way. When you look at what was going on with Qualcomm going into that indecision candle, you can see you had a big up move. Now, normally, if we're just breaking this down from a psychological perspective, when you have a huge gap like that, it jumped from 138 all the way up to, I'm going to call it 156. You had an $18 jump that morning. Normally what happens is you get a day or so of rally up, and then it starts to fill the gap, right? And I don't know why. I'm assuming this was earnings, but who knows? This could have been Cramer going, buy, buy, buy. You never know with Jim Cramer. So in this case, I'd be waiting for this thing to dip back down. Well, so what I'd do is I'd put a line right here and say, all right, if it breaks down below 153.42, which is the low of the candle on the 4th of November, then I'll look for a short. Well, it doesn't. And, once it starts to establish some highs, you can also go that. And, of course, you want to put on the yellow box just because I have a feeling I'll make some shirts if I have some time. So you put that box in there and say, I'm just waiting for it to break out one way or the other. That's an easier way than saying, well, this candle represents indecision. It does. But does that really clue me into the fact that it was going to break to the upside? Not really. What ultimately clued me in was price breaking through the upside and making a new high. That's pretty much the main factor. So I like these types of candles, these spinning tops, if you will, right after big rallies in price, so a big surge up, and you get that little hesitation. Then you simply wrap your lines above it, below it, right, and create a range and trade once it pops out of that range. Normally, on a huge run up, it'll break to the downside and have a sell-off. Buy safe bulkers and PayPal? In PayPal? I don't know safe bulkers, but PayPal, nope. There we go. All right, so there's PayPal. We talked about this one a while back. I think we talked about it as it was hitting this line at 178, and it just doesn't look good. But what did we just talk about? We talked about when something kind of ends up being range bound, and I could easily put a yellow box around where we're sitting. I'm going to just extend it out here because who knows, we may stay in that range for some time. Put a line right across the top, which is right about there. So basically you're stuck between 178 and 197. So Tom's going to look at that, probably put it on his watch list and say, maybe I'll make some iron condors, do some spread trades on this bad boy. Great. If it can stay in that range for quite some time, then there's opportunity there. Right now, I wouldn't say buy or sell, right? I would be indifferent. I think, personally, that if you look at the way this chart is moving, that's going to break to the downside and potentially challenge this gap all the way down here at 127. Only because the trend right now is so weak. I don't know what the factors are which is causing PayPal to be weak, but I don't really care, do I? I really just am trying to capitalize on whatever price is doing. So remove all my opinions about PayPal, etc., and just say, right now price is consolidating. It's been pretty much sideways for almost a month now, right? Just chopping in that $18 range. Wait for it to pop up out of that range, and you'll be good to go. Either up or down. Same with Square. Yeah, Square is different. I'm long-term. I like Square. Ooh, nice one. So we're talking about selling puts. I don't remember who wrote that, or we were just talking about selling puts. So I think we talked about it when it breaks this level. So, that's kind of cool. So sell puts, 1210. So when the price was up here, okay, so we're talking about selling puts when it was right there. So sell puts 155, and I'm guessing that was for December. I don't remember what the premium was. I need to make better track of this, but All right, I'll check that out, Katit. Maybe we can make the Trader Merlin. If you have design ideas for the Trader Merlin yellow box shirt, let me know. I'm not a graphic designer. I would probably just make a yellow box and put my logo in the middle. But if you have an idea, let me know. Maybe I'll get some made. But right, this is the logical point for this thing to bounce, right? Big Eb. Same with Square. Well, we had this line here because this is the last point that it had an aggressive bounce up. So that's the demand zone I'd be looking to buy into. And that was the selling puts to collect premium. It literally came into it. So let me move my screen over here. And then we go into zoning. So the way I draw my levels is a little bit different. That's where my beginning of my zone would be. And if you look over here, man, damn it. I should have set an alert on that one. It literally just tiptoed into it yesterday and then ripped out today. Now, granted, you're going against the trend because things are starting to feel more bearish. Obviously, today was a great positive up move for the markets. You would expect there to be more bullishness for the end of the year, as historically is the case. But, nice. I'm glad we had that level on there. I need to be more specific. So when I write these things, I'll put more detail, like sell puts, earn X amount of premium. But that, I think, was just a couple weeks ago. We're talking about selling some puts on Square. And also, we had this big yellow box there. Well, how did that work? Well, the whole rule of a yellow box is if you get outside of it, there's your short. It ripped right back up, retested, and has since gone down. The trend was your friend. It's making lower lows, lower highs. Go with the trend. So, there you go. Cool. It's been dicey today, but it was nice. I don't mind owning it there. Yeah, I wouldn't either. But did you get exercised? Because this is Monday, so you shouldn't have been exercised if you sold the 150. Oh, you sold the 160s. Oh, okay. Yeah, so you got exercised on Friday, right? Let's see. Oh, no, you didn't. If you sold the 160s, which expired on Friday. Did they expire Friday? I'm confused. Yeah, they expired Friday. Cool. All right, well, hope you didn't get exercised. That would be a little bit close for comfort. But, yeah, you're right. If you owned it there and bounced today, even better. Lululemon. Similar type of picture. Lululemon actually coming into an area where I would be all right buying it also, right around 366. I mean, considering you're down about 120 or 130 bucks on Lululemon, this is a pretty nice discount for one of the more established athletic clothes companies. But similar picture we just saw with PayPal and Square. Some of these companies are taking a drubbing right now while the overall markets are still up. Some of them are the beneficiaries of the lockdown and COVID, right? A lot of people going to work out from home. So give me some Lululemon workout clothes. Honestly, Costco's cost 1/10 the price and do the same thing. But hey, ladies want to have Lululemon on their pants. That's fine. I get it. And men. Let's not be sexist. Let's call it what it is. And let's see. What is the other one that we were talking? Let's go into... I just want to look at this one real quick. Yeah, we got Hood is still dying. The other one was Zoom, which, great. I mean... I may sound like a broken record, but that trend is your friend to the bend at the end. I mean, goodness gracious, this thing is still just a dog. And I still think you're going to see lower prices for Zoom. Why? It's got too much competition. Too much. I wish I knew the selling puts game, but seems like it's a savings account, secure method of return. It's not that it's secure. I mean, you're just basically locking up. The only problem with selling puts, cash secured puts, is it requires a lot of capital, right? So, for example, let's go to SPY. So here's your S&P. Let's say you decided to sell. So we had a big bounce today, right? So you decided to sell those 100 shares. You did one put contract, just one put contract. And let's say you sold it down here, right? So you did the 435s. 435s. That means that you're selling someone the right to sell you their shares at $435. And you're thinking, well, why the heck would anybody want to do that? Well, because they're protecting their portfolio. They're buying a put just in case their position falls below 435 for whatever reason. So they make money if it falls below 435. But if it stays anywhere above that, you make money. And the amount of money is determined by implied volatility, how long is in the contract. But let's say, in my case, I'm looking to make 1%. So if I went down here and sold this option, I don't know what I would get for the 435s, but let me just do, since I did IWM yesterday. All right, here's IWM, and I sold the 187s. And you can see I had a nice little bounce today. Basically what I'm telling the world is, or telling whoever bought this contract from me, is I'm willing to buy your 100 shares of IWM if by January 21st, or 22nd, I think. Yeah, that's 21st. By this vertical line right here. Right? If the price of IWM, by the time it crosses this blue horizontal or vertical line, if that price is above 187, meaning it's 187 and 1 penny, I collect my 1.3% premium. I've already collected it, right? It's sitting in my bank. But that is the premium I am getting paid for the obligation. I am committing myself to buy if it gets here. Now, what does that mean? Well, if I'm buying the 187s, that means that I have to have $18,700 in my account. And for a lot of people, they may not feel like that's comfortable, meaning I'm making 1.3% on $18,700. That may not be a great enough return for somebody. For others like myself, in this account, it's the peace of mind of knowing that that's a consistent income stream. It's not guaranteed, right? There's some months where I just don't find good premium and I'll have to maybe shift to different instruments, or maybe not even make a trade, or wait till I find a better opportunity. There's also sometimes, I did one on AMC where I got 7% rate of return for a week because it was so volatile. It was back in here sometime. It was crazy. And it was the option was so deep out of the money. Like, it was like when I was trading at $40 and I think I sold the 20 or the 18 and I made 7% in the week. It was nuts. You don't always get that, and that's just too risky. But again, it's just a strategy or a tactic that some people like to use. It's not that glamorous. It's not like it's that exciting. I mean, literally, with most of the trades in that account, I make one trade for a month. So, third week of the month rolls around, options expire, hopefully worthless. Monday rolls around, and I go back through those accounts and I say, okay, let's allocate this one. Let's buy some, sell some IWM, sell some Qs, sell some XLE, XLF, something that's rather liquid, and I'll go far enough out of the money where I'm not too concerned about it. I mean, if you notice where the levels are for IWM, and I'll do it from where I actually made the transaction, which is, I'll do it from where I made that transaction, which was yesterday when it was down here. That level, what are you doing, Merlin? That level was about 11% away. So it has to fall 11% by January 22nd. Okay, it could do that for sure. Now, it's got to fall almost 15%, right? I love those types of trades too, Lisa. It's not glamorous. I mean, we all would love to have the trade where we invested $2,000 and I made 15, right? Like, yeah, give me that huge X factor. I want 10X, 20X, 50X. One of my really good friends who's a great options trader, he's always talking about how if you look at the most amazing baseball players, I actually wrote a blog post about Derek Jeter. And I am not a New York Yankees fan. Sorry, I'm a San Francisco Giants fan. I know, hate me. So it is who it is. But the Yankees, I don't know. I've never been a Yankees fan. Of course, they've had some of the greatest players of all time. Derek Jeter, over the course of his career, batted .315. That means he failed 68.5% of the time. He missed or popped out or grounded out. He got out 68% of the time. He only got on base or made hits 31.5% of the time. And he's going straight to the Hall of Fame. Now, for him, it's not about hitting home runs. It's not about hitting a triple. It's not about hitting a double. It's just about getting that first bag. And to me, that's kind of what I'm looking at with options and that 1% strategy is like, I'm just getting to first base. If I can make it where every player makes it to first base, I'm going to win every game, right? Because I'll just keep moving around the bases. Score, and you're winning. Now, every now and again, I get exercise, and those options are put to me, or their shares are put to me, and then I just do the same thing and I sell covered calls. Mariano Rivera, yeah, I know, another great Yankee. Is trading your living how you feel, or a combination of teaching and trading? Don't have to answer, it's super personal. I do both, obviously. So I'm doing multiple things. I have, obviously, working with OTA, building content, and educating there. But trading is a major source as well. So to me, it's kind of the synergy. The big distinction is I don't do anything with my trading profits. They just stay in accounts and grow. I haven't pulled money out of an account in eons. So I've also had periods of time, very short period of time, where I was just trading. And that put a lot of extra stress on me. And all of a sudden I found my rules were being broken because I was almost forcing trades. I felt like I had this desperation to make money on those. So yeah, not, I don't know. I'd rather be working. Because otherwise, I'm extremely fortunate that what I get to do is what I love. So right now, my main focus is building cryptocurrencies and teaching cryptocurrencies for OTA. Great. But I also can teach core strategy. I can also trade futures. I can also trade Forex, options in a simple form. But if I have an outlet where I get to learn about what I'm doing or teach about what I'm doing, it just makes the experience better. So, you talk to somebody like Larry Jacobson, Larry, he was a student early on. And now for him, it's like, this is one of the greatest things. And all of us, Todd Davis, Jordan Matthews, it's like when you start to teach, it allows you to take a step back and not put the pressure on you making money, because now you're analyzing and looking for great setups. Whereas if you are just sitting there trading only, you have no other sources of income, now you're going to start to force things. You're going to make trades for the sake of having a trade open because you feel like you have to be making money. Whereas when you're not, when you have something else, another job, you can step back and separate yourself, which for me is really important, right? You put a lot of pressure on yourself that you have to be right. You have to succeed if you're only trading. Sad news is you're going to go on losing streaks. Regardless of your level of skill or time or experience in the market, there's always losing streaks. You talk to the most powerful, influential traders in the world, right? They're going to go on losing streaks, but they know how to deal with those, and they stop them and regroup and then move forward. How do you balance trading and working a day job? Thinking about switching my shift job to be able to trade in the mornings. I'm fortunate because I can trade all day long should I want, right? My main thing right now is I'm building content and teaching classes. So there's certain windows of time where I'm not going to be trading. So for example, tonight, 6 to 8, I do teach my Crypto Investor Live program. I won't be trading during that one, although I might be trading for the class, which generally is going to be much smaller, right? When I'm trading in front of a class, I'll usually trade much smaller. It's funny, we actually had a trade last week. I think it was on Thursday night session where, you guys might remember, it was like 2 minutes. 2 minutes, I put the order in, and it just went whap, blipped down, took me out for almost a $400, I think it was like $367 loss in like 2 minutes. And I go, watch guys, that'll be the dead low. It's going to spike up from there. And sure enough, my trade was the dead low. It actually shot well up to my target. Oh well. So I do trade live in front of the students, but I'm not doing it with a ton of capital. The main reason is there's pressure. And I think you guys all understand that, like, if you have a small trade on, you can talk, you can educate, and you can explain. But when you go big, let's say you've got 10 shares on of Microsoft. Okay, whatever. That's $3,000, not that big. But you've got 10,000 shares of Microsoft on. It's like, shh, don't talk to me. I just want to, let me think, right? Well, think out loud. I want to learn. Well, I need to make money and manage this trade because it's a monster. It's a $3 million trade. Don't mess with me right now. That's a little bit different for some people, but the bigger you get, the more you don't want anybody around. You're like, shh, quiet. Even my dog gets on my nerves. Isn't that right, Yoa? Yeah, he's asleep waiting for a walk. So there you go. That's how I balance it. I think, Walter, if you find out which time of day fits you best, then migrate to that, right? If you know that mornings are your sweet spot, then move your shift around and trade mornings. But don't force it, right? I always tell, and I think I've told you this, guys, many times, it's discovery process. We've got, 50-something people in here. Out of all of you, you're all going to have a different time that you trade better. You can have different assets. You can have different share sizes. I mean, it's crazy how it... I don't get it. I really don't understand that part about the markets, on how I can teach a strategy to somebody and all of a sudden they leave class and their first trade, they're already doing it differently. They're looking at different factors. They're incorporating in this different news feed or this technical indicator, and the whole style becomes different. That's just the nature of trading, right? Bottom line is, have your foundation solid so that whatever house you build on top of that, you can manage it and build it as stable as possible. All right, let me look at your announcements for tomorrow. Unfortunately, I don't know which one. This camera, somehow all my buttons got messed up. Okay, that's not John O'Donnell. I'm trying to find my right screen. Where's 1 full, 3 full? This should be 3. Huh. Okay, see that one? Great. I can't even show you my other screen now because it's all messed up. Well, I'll put it with John O'Donnell on. Sorry, but it's going to have to be John O'Donnell. Where's John? Ay. It's so funny. For some reason, my keys got all deleted on my screen, and I can't show you what's up for tomorrow. Great. That's me, guest and host. All right, well, we're going to leave that with John. I don't know why, but this is your this is your economic calendar for tomorrow. The main reason I put this one up is we have some very important news. Obviously, the GDP numbers coming out tomorrow. You have the PCE price index on Thursday, which is probably more important. But GDP has been kind of the cornerstone for the Fed, right? they've been talking about GDP and talking about growth and how growth looks good. They've been raising their forecast. So keep your eye on GDP tomorrow. It's pretty much baked into this number. I don't expect there to be any deviations. Like if it does come out anything other than 2.1, it's going to be like 2.2 or 2.0. I wouldn't expect there to be a big swing. But if there is a big swing in GDP, the markets will probably go wild on that one because this is what the Fed has been really using as its anchor to say, well, we're okay. We're not that bad. We have good growth. If growth falters and comes out anything under 2, then all of a sudden markets are probably going to take a dump because that means the Feds are... they have more problems ahead for the Federal Reserve. You also have existing home sales coming out tomorrow, which will be at 7 a.m. Pacific time, so that's 30 minutes into the trading day. Crude oil inventories as well. For those of you trading crude oil, you had a nice pop today of 3.66%, but really not much to speak of there with crude oil, and there you go. Here's your crude oil today. Again, we had a hammer formation yesterday, but it's still just kind of chopping in this range, so not that big of a deal. Let's see. Big Eb is here, which means I've got 3 minutes to finish this show because I can't give him the satisfaction of having a 1-hour show today. Drew says, Merlin, what's the best place to start with options at OTA? It's one area I haven't really gotten acquainted with, but want to. There is an on-demand portion, so you can kind of get the feel, the lay of the land by going with their on-demand program, and then take the options course. There's a few options instructors. Larry Jacobson is one of my favorites, just because I like the way he has a teaching methodology that I resonate with. But there's a bunch of different options instructors at OTA who are all great. So I would, get your feet wet by maybe doing the self-pace and then just get into a class. They're on demand. Some centers are doing physical locations, etc. I know another YouTuber from CA, I don't know if that's California, also having trouble with his computer. It must be that California. No, when I hit the wrong button earlier, and I think I hit delete, and it deleted the button, so I have to reconfigure everything. Oh, and by the way, I told you guys, Sue O'Grady, yeah, Sue's awesome as well. I told you I was going to redo my whole studio. For some reason, my house is wired for Cat 5, but that one room where I'm putting the studio is not wired. So I got to get that fixed. I've had some electronic issues, so this is not the new studio. At the latest, it's going to be the first of the year. I got some work I need to do to get that set up, but I'm really excited. Also, got a whole new podcast system with microphones and just much better equipment. So hopefully I won't look pink all the time. My audio will sound better and more consistent. And, I know a lot of people complained about the green screen background. You like the old one with the pictures. Who knows? We might mix things up and do a little bit of different ones. So anyway, that's going to do it for me, everybody. Mark, it's funny because I feel bad. The other day I did my Crypto Investor Live program, and I was like, man, you had Mark Schlichting at the same time as Sean Reed, as Jordan Matthews, and I think Scott McCormick, and myself. So you had the 5 of us all just like at the same time in the XLTs or some sessions. Like, man, that's some tough overlap, tough competition. I had good attendance. I was pretty happy about that. Was it because you hooked up your mobile phone software to it? No, it wasn't that big, Ab. It's just, for some reason, I think the way there's a Cat 5 splitter in the wall. Everything's plugged, but they ran cables in and then they ran them out, and I think somewhere it got disconnected and didn't quite work. All right, I've got less than 60 seconds, so I'm going to wrap things up. Again, if you guys have comments, questions, feedback, emails on the screen, TraderMerlin@gmail.com. Entice me. I've got 2 shows left for you for this year. 2. Tomorrow's one, and then next Wednesday. So let me know what you want to talk about for tomorrow, because I'm going to be gone and taking some vacation. Are we there? Almost an hour? Damn it. All right, that's your Christmas present, Big F, and others. 1-hour show today. So send me what you want me to talk about for tomorrow's show. If not, I'll probably have a nice glass of Bib and Tucker whiskey on behalf of that wonderful gift I received from Lori. So thank you so much for that one. And guys, have a fantastic, ladies as well, fantastic remainder of your trading session if you're trading at night. If not, I'll see you guys in the Crypto Investor Live. If not, I'll see you tomorrow. Take care, everybody.